He Krishna Karuna Sindha Dīnabandha Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayine Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namaha Pancha Tattvatmakam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Janmadhyasya Anvayaditiratas Chārthe Subhigyaswarat Tene Brahma Hridaya Adikavaye Muyanti Yat Suraya Tejo Vari Mridam Yatha Vinimaya Yatra Trisargo Mrisha Dhamna Svena Sada Nirasta Kuhakam Satyam Param Dhimahi Narayanam Namaskritya Naranchaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudhirayet Swasti Astu Vishwasya Khalaha Prasidatam Dhyayantu Bhutani Shivam Mithodhiya Manasya Madram Vajata Dadhokshaje Aveshyatam No Matirapya Haituki. So we are reading from Śrīmad-Bhāgavata of Vishwanath Panchanan. And this is a book of Nyaya, as the title of the book itself says. And it gives the gist of the Siddhantas, principles of Nyaya. Therefore, Nyāya-siddhānta-muktāvalī. Mukta means the pearls. And it's like a necklace made from the principles of gem-like principles of Nyaya. It's a very popular book in modern times. Those who study Nyaya or who give exam for Nyaya, this is a compulsory book. And it is like a mini reflection of Tattva Chintamani of Ganges Upadhyaya. So Ganges Upadhyaya is a very big name in Nyaya because he is known as the founder of the Navya Nyaya, the Neologic school. He was in Mithila, which is in Bihar. And from there, the Nyaya came to Navdeep, where Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu lived. And very great Naiyayikas came from Navdeep. Raghunath Siromani, Gadadhar Bhattacharya, Jagdish Tarkalankara, and many other. Sri Vishwanath Panchanan, the author of this book, his father's name is Vidyavinas Nivas Bhattacharya, and who was son of Vidyavachaspati Bhattacharya, who was brother of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. So he is basically in the third generation from Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, and everybody knows, at least Gaudiya Vaishnavas know about Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. He was the guru of King Prataparudra in Jagannath Puri, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is associated with him, or he is associated with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to Jagannath Puri for the first time, and Sri Nityananda Prabhu broke his sannyas danda, because after taking sannyas he was moving there on request of his mother, Srimati Sachi Devi. And before you enter Jagannath Puri, there is a small, what you call nala, like a culvert, like a stream of water, and it's still known as Dandabhanga. That's where he took the danda, broke it and threw it inside. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became very upset because he just took sannyas and his danda was gone. So he left everybody and he walked, leaving them behind, and he went to the temple of Jagannath. And after seeing Jagannath, he went into his internal mood and fell unconscious externally. So the pujaris there, they thought that he is some crazy fellow. And of course he was young, beautiful, tall. So they were trying to just lift him and throw him out. And that is when Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya came to have darshan, and he understood that he is some very special person, and he took him to his house. So that's how they came in contact. And they understood, because Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is originally from Navdeep, and it is he who brought the Navya Nyaya from Mithila to Navdeep, and he was teaching there. And because Navdeep fell under the rule of the Muslims, so he left that place. That's why he went and took shelter of King Prataparudra. So he knew Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's father, Jagannath Mishra. So when he asked him who is he, and he told, so then they knew each other. So although there is a story which we know that Raghunath Shiromani and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu were classmates, but historically it doesn't fit, because Raghunath Shiromani was student of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. That is well known fact. He has written it himself. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not know Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. This is the first time he is meeting him. So Raghunath Shiromani must have been senior to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Raghunath Shiromani then went to Mithila to study from Pakshadhar Mishra. So Ganges Upadhyaya wrote Chintamani, which brought a revolution, not only in Nyaya but in the whole Indian scholarship, because he brought a system how to express your thoughts in a more precise manner. That is one of the greatness of Navya Nyaya, that it goes, it's after precision, which is very important in our daily life. A lot of problems come in our life because we don't express ourselves clearly. We, as they say, go around beating the bush, not making clear what you want to say. So Nyaya hates that completely. Nyaya in general hates, and Navya Nyaya absolutely hates it. Nothing else it hates more than not being clear. So that is what we will see here also, besides studying the principles of Nyaya, that how the precision is very important in expression. So he studied there, Raghunath Shiromani from Pakshadhar Mishra, who his son of Ganges Upadhyaya was Yagyapati Upadhyaya, who wrote commentary on his father's book. Then Pakshadhar Mishra wrote a commentary, and he was very famous. He was the greatest Nyayika of his time, and Raghunath Shiromani went and studied from him. And then he wrote his Didhiti. So the Didhiti became, there are so many commentaries on Tattva Chintamani. In fact, once upon a time, that was the test of your scholarship. if somebody considered himself to be a scholar, he must write a commentary on Tattva Chintamani. Then only he was acclaimed as a scholar. So Didhiti became very important commentary, and it like overshadowed commentary of Yagyapati Upadhyaya and Pakshadhar Mishra and everybody else. And then there were commentaries written on that by Jagdish Tarkalankar, famous commentary Jagdishi, also commentary written by Gadadhar Bhattacharya, also commentary written by Mathuranath Tarkvagis, who is supposed to be brother-in-law of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Especially this Mathuri Panchalakshani is very famous. So much literature in Nyaya that you cannot actually complete it in one lifetime, because you will see that if you study, if we can complete this book Nyāya-siddhānta-muktāvalī in our lifetime, we'll be fortunate. So this is little bit of history of Nyāya-siddhānta-muktāvalī. And another greatness of this book is that originally there were two separate systems of Nyāya and Vaisheshika by Gautama and Kanada Rishi. But they have a lot of things in common, so therefore they are called Samantantra, means sister philosophies. So attempts were made later on to combine them together, and this is like a combination. So you will see here many things from Nyaya and many things from Vaisheshika philosophy. So this Dravya Gun, Karma, Samanya, etc. This is from Vaisheshika, as we know, we've been studying that. But the Anuman principles, they are from Nyaya. So we will see that. So we will go a little slow, because the important thing of Nyaya is to understand it. It is not so much of just reading it and memorizing it, but actually understanding the concept and the process. Once you get the concept, then it is not so difficult. Otherwise it sounds very complicated when you read it. So therefore we will go slowly so that you grasp it properly. Teaching it in English is a challenge. It is easy to teach it in Hindi or any other Indian language, or in English, in Sanskrit, but to teach in English, Nyaya, this is the most difficult thing, but still we will do that, make an attempt. So I studied this book, let me see if I have written down the date somewhere here, probably in 91. I didn't write. Yeah. And this is after that, this is the first time I'm opening it. And I never thought that I will ever get a chance to read it or teach it. So it is Nikunja Nitai Prabhu who approached me, and I could not refuse. This is my weakness. So I am very grateful to my teacher, honorable teacher, Sri Swami Sri Shyama-Sharan Maharaj. And I studied it from him, and I studied under him for many years, actually till the last day of his life. He left his body in 2013, same year as Guru Maharaj, few months before him. And we had class in the morning, and at night he left his body. He was around 77, I think, 78. So there was no major problem, but suddenly his heart stopped and he was gone. But he was a very great scholar, great Nyāyika. If I tell you how much they were studying, then you will say, oh my God. He said he used to study Nyaya 8 to 10 hours a day. And that's how these people studied Nyaya. So I wanted to study Nyaya when I started studying Sanskrit, and I was, getting into it. And Guru Maharaj was also a great Nyayika. he has also studied in Banaras. In fact, he took pleasure in writing about his title as Nyāya-acharya more than anything else. Although he had studied, Vedanta and Jyotish, Sahitya, Vyakaran, everything he studied. But I remember before he built the temple, where the temple in front part is, only the back side was there, that garden. That's where he lived with his Guru Maharaj. And then when his Guru left, then he was living there, and there was a board outside his room which said that meeting time after sunset, and then his name and Nyāya-acharya. And he had given up everything. He was only just absorbed in doing his bhajan. Then his Nyaya teacher came once from Banaras, and since he was a very great student of Nyaya, which even his teacher has acknowledged him in his book, I saw that. So he said, you should teach, what is this, you're just sitting here. You studied so much and now you don't teach. So Hare Ram Shastri, who was a very great Nyaya teacher. So he had studied from two teachers, Vamacharana Bhattacharya, whose name will come here also, and also from Hare Ram Shukla. So it is Sri Hare Ram Shukla who asked Maharaj to teach, and that is when he decided to teach. So when I came in contact with Maharaj and I started studying, so I didn't want to study Nyaya from him. And my reasoning was that I wanted to study the Gaudiya books from him, because Gaudiya books no one else could teach. So I thought I don't want to waste my time studying Nyaya from him. Nyaya, etc., I should study from someone else. And from him I should get all the Gaudiya-siddhānta. So I was looking for Nyaya teacher. I was searching. And I went to many people, the famous names. So, but I could not find. And one day somebody said, there is somebody, I was in ISKCON at that time, and one Indian boy, he was doing parikrama, and on the other side of Vrindavan, he met one sadhu who had his hut, and they sat down, and this guy started speaking little bit about Nyaya. So he came running and he told me, there is a Nyaya teacher, because I was asking everybody. So I went to see him. I said, I want to study, and he raised his hand. He said, no, I cannot teach. But then he pointed out to somebody else. He was Goswami from Radharaman. What was his name? His son's name was Narsingh Goswami. I forget his name. So he says, you should go to him, he can teach. So I searched him, he was living near Goredavji. So I went there and I requested him that I want to learn. So he started throwing some Nyaya sentences, and I was very impressed, So he said he doesn't have the book, I should bring the book. I said, no problem, I brought the book. But then he said, look, I will teach you, but you have to do one thing. I said, what? He says, get me a job as a Hindi teacher in Gurukula. So I was so eager, so I approached the principal there and I got him a job. And then after 3 days, we have a class had not started, he came to my room because he was now coming to teach. And he said that actually I cannot teach. He says, I have no capability to teach. So I said, oh my God. And then he started sending his son, Nrsimha Goswami, he taught them. So then I said, okay, tell me, where can I learn? So he said, I don't know. So there was another great Nyayika here. His name, he was from Nimbark Sampradaya, Vaidyanath Jha. And he used to live near Nimbark Mahavidyalaya. So I went to him and he refused to teach. So then this Nyāya-acharya, Sri Syamasarana Maharaj, he used to actually before live in Akhandananda ashram. And I used to see him there because I was also going to Akhandananda ashram to study Siddhānta-Kaumudī from another teacher. So I used to see him and I knew that he is a Nyāyika. And there was another student, I studied Tark Sangrah from him. And they only said that he is a great Nyāyika. But he says, but don't go to him because he won't teach you. So I never made an attempt to go to him because they told him that he won't teach you, he will just make you do service. So I never went to him. But finally, when Akhandananda Swami left his body, they asked him to leave that ashram. Because when Akhandananda Saraswati was a great scholar, these are old time in Vrindavan. Vrindavan had many great scholars at that time. Karpatri Maharaj, this Nischalananda Saraswati, who is a Shankaracharya now, Akhandananda Saraswati, Guru Maharaj, Syamasaranji, Vedinath Jha, they were all very great scholars. So, but there used to be always this katha in Akhandananda ashram, and Akhandananda Saraswati Maharaj used to sit himself, and Nischalananda Saraswati would be there, and Shyamananda Maharaj. These three were big scholars. And being a Nyāyika, he will always find fault. Because in Nyaya they say, dosho vacha gurorapi. Nyāyika says that you find fault even in the Guru. And in Nyaya you see that, Guru says something that, and then disciple comes and says, no, it should be like that. So it's not a disrespect to Guru. In Nyaya, it is considered as an honor that my disciple is so great. Because this is logic, It's not some Vedic statements or anything like that, So he was doing that. So as when Akhandananda Saraswati, he was very generous. He did not mind that, very open-hearted. And he loved scholars. So when he left his body, the mahant who came after him, the first thing he said, get out from here. So he threw him out. So then he was living in some ashram, in Saranagat ashram, near Goredauji. There is this village, So I came to know that he is there, then I went to him. Because I was searching. So I met him and I said, I want to study Nyaya. So he said, okay, I will teach you, but I have one condition. I said, please tell me. He says, I don't want to live here, and you make some arrangement for me to live on Ramanreti, then I will teach you. So then I made a room for him in Nimbark Sadan, and I brought him from there, and that's how our class started.
This Nimbark Sadan, which is opposite
That Geet, Nimbark Sadan, on Parikrama Road, near to, just next to this Krishna Balram tree. Just before that, this side of the road, the other side is the Krishna Balram tree, and this side. That's where he was living. So now they have demolished the hut. His kutia which I made. It was double story, and they made guest rooms there. Because the mahant who was there, when I built he died 2 years ago. So they demolished everything. So that's where I was going to study all the time. And later on he used to come and have his meals every Ekadashi here, you remember? So I'm remembering him, that's why I'm telling this story, because it is by his grace that I studied this book, studied many books from him. So hopefully I will do some justice to him. So let's begin. So there are basically 3 books here. So the original book is called Karikavali, and Karikavali means that it has karikas or the slokas. There are 168 slokas. So Sri Vishwanath Panchanan, he summarized the whole philosophy of Nyaya in 168 karikas, slokas, and that is called Karikavali. But simply studying the Karikas is not easy and understand, especially Nyaya. So then he wrote his own explanation on that, and that is what is called Nyāya-siddhānta-muktāvalī. So Karikavali, they are in the Padya, in the poetic form. I mean, it is great thing that person is writing philosophy in the sloka form, And then but his explanation Nyāya-siddhānta-muktāvalī is in prose form. But even Nyāya-siddhānta-muktāvalī is not that simple to understand. So there are many commentaries written on that. And as I said, that this is one of the most popular books. Tark Sangraha is the first book people study, and then they study this. So we already did Tark Sangraha. So original book is Karikavali, and then there is a Nyāya-siddhānta-muktāvalī. And then we are reading commentary called Kiranavali, which is a commentary on Nyāya-siddhānta-muktāvalī. So basically we will be reading these three. There are many other commentaries on Nyāya-siddhānta-muktāvalī, Dinkari, Ramrudri, Prabha, and so on, because it's such a popular book. But Kiranavali is what I studied, and it's very popular. I also studied some part of Dinkari. Dinkari, Ramrudri are more high standard or more complicated. So Kiranavali is easy. So this Kiranavali commentary has been written by Sri Vallabhacharya, who comes from Sri Swaminarayan Sampradaya, the famous Swaminarayana who have now these temples all over the world, big temples, this Baps. So he is from that Sampradaya. So let's begin. So since we know that Vishwanath Panchanan has some relationship with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is a Vaishnava, or must have been, because he is the one who made this statement that I will prefer to be a jackal in Vrindavan than to have the mukti of Nyaya. So we have this Mangalācaraṇam of Nyāya-siddhānta-muktāvalī, and there is a Mangalācaraṇam of Karikavali also. So in Nyāya-siddhānta-muktāvalī, he is praying to Shiva, who is also great Vaishnava. And in Karikavali, he will pray to Krishna. We will see that later on. So we will see two Mangalācaraṇam. And then there is a Mangalācaraṇam, of course, by the commentator. So this is his sloka. So everybody has the book, because without book you will be lost. Yeah.
Maharaj, we have two books. Is it this one or is it this one? Because this contains Kiranavali, this has Ramrudri and
Dinkari.
Dinkari.
So we are following Kiranavali.
This contains Kiranavali.
Yeah. That's what we are studying, Kiranavali, not Dinkari. Sachudai manikrit vidhur valaikrit vasukihi bhavo bhavatu bhavyaya lila tandav panditaha. So it says bhavo bhavyaya bhavatu. This is the main statement of the sloka. So you know that when there is a sloka, then you have to do anvaya. You have to make the prose sentence from the poetic verse. So bhavaha bhavyaya bhavatu. Bhava is the name of Shiva. So bhava means so from whom the world comes. So jagat srishti sthiti pralaya asmat bhavati iti bhava. So it's one of the name of Shiva. And bhavatu means let it be, and bhavyaya means for prosperity, for auspiciousness. So it's like he is giving a blessing that may Lord Shiva be for the auspiciousness or prosperity for himself, for the reader. So you know that there are three types of Mangalācaraṇam. One of them is Ashirvadatmaka, Vastu Nirdeshatmaka. Right? So this is Ashirvadatmaka. And the other three words, Chuda Manikrita, Vidhu, Valaikrita Vasuki, and Leela Tandav Panditaha. These are all the adjectives of Bhava. So Kidrisham Bhava, what type of Shiva is he? So he is the one who had Chudamani Krita Vidhu. That he had made Vidhu as his ornament on the head. Vidhu means moon. And Chudamani, Mani is the gem, Chuda is on the head. So he's like the, so moon is like the gem on his head, like a crown. And Valaikrita Vasuki. Vasuki is a snake, brother of Ananta, right? So son of the Kadru, wife of Kashyapa. Kashyapa had 27 wives, or no, 13. 27 is moon. So Kadru gave birth to many snakes. So one of them is Vasuki. So Valaikrita. So he is making the armlet. It's called armlet, right? Which you wear on the arm. So he has made armlet from the snake, Vasuki. These are his ornaments. And Leela Tandav Pandita. And why? Because he wants to do dance. So when you do dance, you have to decorate yourself with a lot of ornaments, spend a lot of time, right, Jana? It's not that you just dance. And his dance is Tandava, Tandav Nritya. So there is a Lasya and Tandava. Lasya is by Parvati and Tandava is by Shiva. So one is more power, other is more gracious. So this is his Tandava, and this is his, he is doing it out of his Leela, Leelaya Tandava. And he is very expert in this. Tandaveshu Pandita, Tandava Pandita, or Tandava Pandita. So that is the simple Mangalācaraṇam. And there is a very long commentary on it. We may spend few days just on that. You will see how detailed commentary will come on it. So now there is a Mangalācaraṇam by the commentator, Sri Vallabhacharya, Krishna Vallabhacharya. So Veda no yanti param niravadhir chedas varshmano divya girbhi janmai sthairiyanta lila prabhavati jagatam vikshnat yasya rupe sarvo avirbhav hetur nivasati parme dhamni muktanushakta tarkalakshi kritoyam samavatu bhagavan swami narayano naha. So he is praying to Swami Narayan because he is a follower of Swami Narayan. So he says, Bhagavan Swami Narayanaha na samavatu. That is the main statement. That Bhagavan Swami Narayana may protect us. Avatu, avarakshana dhatu. So he may protect us. And then rest is all explanation of who is this Swami Narayana. So Swami Narayana is name for Krishna. So of course they have their own idea of Swami Narayana. So Veda no yanti param niravadhi chida chida varshmano divya girbhi. So yasya param Veda no yanti. So whose limits are not known by the Vedas, means Veda cannot describe him fully. That is Bhagavan Swami Narayana. Why? Because he is niravadhi, he is unlimited. And Chidachid Varshmana, his body is both Chit and Achit. So he has transcendental body, but this world is also considered Prithvi me Sariram, Prithvi yasya Sariram, Subala Upanishad says that the earth is his body. And Divya Girbhir Veda no yanti. So by their transcendental speech, Vedas cannot find his limit. And Janma Sthairya Anta Leela Prabhavati Jagdam Vikshnad Yasya Rupe. So this Vikshnat I don't know, in my book it has small ikara, it should be long. You have long? It's a mistake. I think they just reprinted the book without going through it. So it should be Vikshnat. So yasya Vikshnat Jagtam Janma Stharya Antalila Prabhavati. So by his glance the world takes birth, stays and exists. So by that is his Leela, Yasya Rupe. And Sarva Avirbhav Hetur Nivasati Parme Dhamni. He is the cause of manifestation of everything, but he lives in the Param Dham, in the transcendental abode. How? Muktānushakta, performing his Leela or divine Leela with the liberated beings there. Because all the Nitya-siddhas, they live there, Nitya-suris. And Tarkya Lakshikritoyam. And he is Lakshikrita by Tarka. Because in Nyaya, they try to prove the existence of Ishvara by logic. So he says by logic he is indicated. Cannot realize him, but you can establish his existence because there is a Ishvarvada which will come here also. So first part is Mangalvada, why there has to be Mangalācaraṇam, there will be talk on that, and then Ishvarvada, because we are doing Mangalācaraṇam to Ishvara. So first the question will be raised, why do Mangalācaraṇam? Why are you doing invocation? What is the use? Why do you waste your time on this? So there is going to be discussion on that. And then there is no Ishvara. So why are you doing this? So then Ishvaravada will come. And then only the proper subject of the book will be discussed. So then next he has Sarvatantra Swatantro Vāmācarana Deshikan Digante Sonatva Nyāyika Dhurandharan Sri Krishna Vallabhacharya Swami Narayana Ashritaha Nyāya-siddhānta-muktāvalī Tikām Tanute Kirnāvalim. So he is praying to his teacher. Vāmācarana Bhattacharya was a great Nyāyika in Banaras. So he is called Sarvatantra Swatantra. The Tantra is the word used for Tantra. Tantra is used for discipline, means subject. So he is Sarvatantra Swatantra, means that he is knower of all the philosophical schools. Tantra here refers to philosophical school, or what you call discipline. So various disciplines he has studied. So it's a common word used for great scholars, Sarvatantra Swatantra. So Swatantra means freely, that he can freely dive into any of the literature or any of the philosophical book. And who is he? Sri Vāmācarana Deshikan. Deshika means teacher, guru. It's another word for teacher. And he is using plural out of respect. And Diganta Yasho, and what kind? How is he? His fame was spread in all directions. Dik means direction, you know that. Ananta means end. So in all directions his fame is spread. Yasha, Diganta Yasha. So Natva Nyāyika Dhurandharan. So after bowing down to him, who is a Nyāyika Dhurandhara. So although he is Sarvatantra Swatantra, although he is expert in all fields of knowledge, but he is specifically Nyāyika Dhurandhara. Dhurandhara means like a giant, great. And then author writes his own name, Sri Krishna Vallabhacharya Swami Narayana Ashrita. So having taken shelter of Sri Swami Narayana, Nyāya-muktāvalī Tikām Tanute Kirnāvalim. So he is writing the commentary on Nyāya-muktāvalī, and the commentary is called Kirnāvalī. So Kirnāvalī means the rays of light. So this means expanding on the Nyāya-siddhānta-muktāvalī. Okay, is it clear? So we get into the commentary now. So it says Śrīmad-Vishwanath Bhattacharya's Tavat Swavirachita Nūtana Jaladhara Ruchye iti Ashtashashti Adhik Shatakarika Nam Vishada Tattva Bodhikam Muktāvalyākhyāyam Chikirshu Prāripsitasya Muktāvalyākhya Granthasya Nirvighna Parisamapti Artham Kritam Prarthana Garbham Svaishtadeva Nirdeshatmakam Mangalam Shishyapi Grantha Rachnadav Evam Kuryoriti Sikshartham Granthadav Nibadhanati Chudamani iti. So this is the opening sentence. He says that the author, Sri Vishwanath Panchanan Bhattacharya, who has composed himself the Karikas, 168 Karikas, beginning with the first Karika, Nūtana Jaladhar Ruchaye, Gopa Vadhuti Dukula Chaurahe. It will come there. So Vishada Tattva Bodhikam Muktāvalya Akhyayam Chikirshu. So Chikirshu means desiring to write an explanation of his own book called Muktāvalī. So he is writing Muktāvalī on Karikavali. Karikavali is also called Bhasha Paricheda, that is another name. Actually the original name is Bhasha Paricheda, but it became more known as Karikavali. So Vishada Tattva Bodhikam. So this will give a more detailed explanation of that. So to Prāripshitam, so desiring to begin this Muktāvalī Akhya Granthasya Nirvighna Samapti Artham. Why is he doing this Mangalācaraṇam? So Nirvighna Samapti Artham, so that he can complete it without any obstacles. Kritam Prarthana Garbha Svaishtadeva Nirdeshatmaka. So he is doing this Mangalācaraṇam, which is in the form of Sva Ishtadeva Nirdeshatmaka, where he is referring to his Ishtadeva, Shiva, and in between it contains his prayer. Because the prayer is not, there is no prayer mentioned there. He is only just saying that let Shiva be auspicious for everyone or for me. But where is the prayer in that? So therefore Prarthana Garbham, he says, Mangalam, he should have done it in his own mind, or he should have gone to the temple of Shiva or Krishna and done some puja. Why is he writing it here? So he says, Shishyapi Granth Rachnadav Evam Kuryu. So later on some disciples, they write book, so they should also do like this. So just to set a standard, to teach them to other. So iti sikshartham. So for teaching this, Granthadav Nibdhanati. So therefore he is physically writing that Mangalācaraṇam shloka in the beginning of his book, Chudamani iti. So now a little bit of Nyāya language comes.
Shishyapi part, could you please once again explain?
Sishyapi evam kuryu means the disciple should also follow this ideal that when you write a book, do Mangalācaraṇam. Otherwise, if you don't write it and you just do it in the mind, how will the disciple know that you did Mangalācaraṇam before you wrote the book? So then they will not do it. So he says they should do it. So for that reason, he has put it in writing. Okay? So now he starts explaining the sloka, Chudamani iti. So Chudamani, this is like a reference. Whenever you say Chudamani iti, etc. in commentary. So that is called pratik, or indicator that he is explaining this part of the verse. So Chudamani krita vidhur. So swa sadharana kala तांडव विशिष्टस्य अनवधिक चमत्कृति कर विधु वासुकी रूप आभूषण विशिष्टस्य च शंकरस्य स्मरणेन स्मृतिर्विषयीभूतः स द्रागेव प्रसन्नः सन् ग्रंथ समाप्तौ विघ्ननाशात्मकं साहाय्यं विनिवर्तयेत् इति समुत्सुको विश्वनाथ पंचानन भट्टाचार्य एतादृशं स्मरण अनुरूपं पथम रचितवान् इति. So now the question can be raised that he is doing Mangalācaraṇam and you are saying that by doing this Mangalācaraṇam he intends to pray to Shiva that he should be able to complete his book without any obstacle. So now here the doubt which is being raised is that how is that by doing this prayer to Shiva, although it doesn't seem to be a prayer but more like a blessing, but even if it is taken, then how does it help to remove the obstacle? What is the process? How is that we recite some stotra in front of the deity, in front of the form of Bhagavan, or we read some slokas, and that helps to get some benefit. What is the process for this? Right? So this is a valid question. This is how Nyaya works. Nyaya is not saying that you do Mangalācaraṇam and it will remove obstacles. Okay, how does it remove obstacle? What actually is the process? So he is writing that. He is explaining. So in this sentence he explains that what actually happens. So he says Swa-sadharana kala tandav vishishtasya. So sadharan kala tandav means, no, it is asadharana. These are longer. So what is the asadharan kala? The expertise of Shiva is Tandav Nritya. Shiva is known for Tandav Nritya, right? This is special dance which he performs. Like Krishna performs his special dance, Shiva performs his special dance. So his special dance is called Tandava. And this is asadharana. Because everybody dances, most people dance soon, at least sometime in their life, right? But their dance is not asadharana. It is not something unusual, special. It's common. You see others doing something, you also do that. But Shiva's dance is Shiva's dance. No one else can dance like him. So therefore it is called asadharana kala. This is a very special art. And what is this art? Tandav Nritya. So therefore it says Swa asadharana kala tandav vishishtasya anavadhika chamatkriti kara. And Shiva is what? He has done chamatkar which others cannot do. Anavadhik chamatkriti. Chamatkar means some astonishing act. So what is that? That vidhu vasuki rupa abhushan vishishtasya. That he has made ornaments out of moon and the famous snake Vasuki. Now we can do that. So you have seen painting of Shiva, he has moon on his crown. That's what is being mentioned, Chudamani Kritavit. And he has snakes, these are Vasuki snakes. So this is Chamatkriti, right? Unparalleled, astonishing act. Cha Shankarasya Smarnene. So he is remembering Shiva. The author remembers Shiva, but he is not remembering Shiva just in general remembering Shiva. He is remembering Shiva who performs these astonishing acts of making ornaments out of moon and Vasuki snake. So then how does that matter? So now what happens that smarnena smriti visai bhuta sah drageva prasanna. So when he remembers him, then he becomes the object of his remembrance. When you have knowledge, then there is an object of knowledge. Right? If you know the book in front of you, so you have the knowledge of the book, and book is the object of your knowledge. So knowledge is called Vishayi and book is called Vishaya. And knowledge is of two types, Anubhavatmakam and Smaranatmakam. So knowledge which you have Anubhava experience means new knowledge, which is of four types in Nyaya: Prataksha, Pratakshatmak, Anumanatmaka, Upamanatmaka and Shabdatmaka. Right? So that is called Anubhavatmaka. And then there is Smaranatmaka. So Smaranatmakam is something which you have already experienced and you recollect that. That is also knowledge. And then, so these are two types of knowledge. The first one is of four types, second one is only one type. And then these two groups can have further two categories, Prama and Brahma. That your knowledge can be valid or invalid. So now what he is saying is that Shankarasya smarnena smriti vishair bhutah sa drageva prasanna. That he is remembering or recollecting Shiva and recollecting him with this extraordinary characteristic of Shiva. And when Shiva becomes the object of this knowledge, he also becomes conscious of this, that this guy is remembering me. When you know the book does not know you. But when you think of Krishna, then Krishna becomes conscious of you. Yatha mam prapadyante tams tathai bhajamyam. That is the difference. When you chant Krishna's name, then Nam Vyaharanam Vishnu Yatastad Vishyamati. So in Bhagavatam it says that when you Nam Vyaharanam Vishnu, when you chant the name of Vishnu, then his mati, his mind, his attention is drawn towards you. So this is how japa works. And japa is of three types: Mansik, Vachik, Upamsa. So he is doing, this is more like Mansik. So that is Smarana. So Mansik japa is same as Smarana. And this Smarana makes him aware of the Smarta, one who is recollecting. That is what he is saying here. And when this happens, Sadrag eva prasanna. So drag means immediately. So immediately he becomes happy. That, oh, this guy is remembering me. He is chanting my name. He is reciting sloka for me. So he becomes, and if Shiva is happy, then obstacles are kicked away. That's why he is doing Tandava. Tandava he does when he wants to destroy, right? So that's why he used the word Tandava here. That now he will destroy the obstacles, not feed them. So the obstacles will see the snake, they will run away. And if they still don't run away, then Shiva is going to kick them with his Tandava. So that is the thing he is saying. So therefore he says, Sankarasya smarnena vishay smritir vishay bhutah sa drageva prasannah san grantha samaptau vigna nashatmakam sahayyam vinivartayet. So when he is pleased, what will he do? That he will assist the author in completing his book, Granth-samapta. So now there are two opinions about Mangalācaraṇam. We studied this, remember? So one opinion is that by doing the Mangalācaraṇam, the book is completed. Another is that no, by doing the Mangalācaraṇam, the obstacles are removed. The author has to write himself. Not that you do Mangalācaraṇam and then the book comes, drops into your lap. So that's why he is using these words. Every word is important. He says that Grantha-samaptau, in completion of the book, Vigna vinasatmakam sahayyam. So Shiva helps. How does he help? Not in writing, but in removing the obstacle. So you are writing and then mosquitoes are troubling you. So it is also help that somebody takes away the mosquitoes. Right? So if obstacles don't come to you, then you can peacefully write. So this is how Mangalācaraṇam helps. Therefore he is very specifically using these words. So Grantha-samaptau Vigna nashatmakam sahayyam vinivartayet. Vinivartayet means sampadayet. Iti samutsako Vishwanatha Panchanan Bhattacharya. So being eager like this, samutsaka, the author Vishwanath Panchanan Bhattacharya etadrisham smarana anurupam padyam rachitvan iti. So being eager for this help from Bhagavan Shiva, the author Vishwanath Panchanan has composed this verse, which is in the form of smarana, recollection of Shiva. So this is the first explanation he has given of the sloka, the sense behind it. And for today we will stop here. If there is any question on this, yes.
Babaji Maharaj, this the line which we just studied, the sentence which we just studied, this Smarani Smriti Vishay Bhuta, this is ये जो शंकर के स्मरण में विश्वनाथ ये पंचानन भट्टाचार्य,
when Vishwanath is remembering him, so he is remembering, right? And what is the object of his remembrance?
Shiva.
Shiva. So that is the Vishay Bhuta.
तो ये पंचानन भट्टाचार्य के स्मृति विषय भूत शिवा हैं, ये उस सेंस में वर्ड यूज है. और जो आपने बताया था कि उनके भी स्मरण में आ जाते हैं, फिर वो प्रसन्न होते हैं.
That is understood from that.
अच्छा, वो अंडरस्टूड है वो.
इसलिए तो लिखा, that's why he is writing that Smriti Vishay Bhuta, when he becomes the object of his Smriti, then he becomes happy, means he becomes aware of it, obviously.
तो जब पंचानन भट्टाचार्य के स्मृति विषयभूत शिव होते हैं, तब वो उनके भी स्मृतिभूत हो जाते हैं और फिर वे प्रसन्न होते हैं. एक जो फर्स्ट लाइन में निरवधि, ये चिद अचिद वर्षमणो, ये शब्द का अर्थ
वर्षमा मीन्स बॉडी and चित and achit. So this is also a terminology used by Sri Sampradaya people. Because Vallabha Sampradaya, this Swaminarayan Sampradaya aligns itself with Sri Sampradaya. So Chit-achit, Sharira, that's common terminology in Sri Sampradaya.
इसका भाव क्या है चिद-अचित का, मतलब क्या कहना चाह रहे हैं वो?
Vishishta Advaita, you heard that word Vishishta Advaita? So this world is achit, right? So this is his Visheshana. So he has both, he is Chit himself and this is achit. And it is Advaita. Otherwise there will be Dvaita.
ठीक. और एक तीसरा शब्द यहाँ पे आया था प्रार्थना गर्भम, इसका भाव क्या है?
Means in between this is the prarthana, implicit. Garbha means implicit.
अच्छा, वो
implicit within the sloka is his prayer.
It's not directly said,
it's
but
not
it is
explicit.
Okay. Thank you.
Babaji, I'm asking this question from the point of view of Nyaya, and I think the answer will come later part, but I'm asking now. Like if I even take the this point that the Chetan Vastu can remember, like when my Vishay is a Chetan person, like Shiva here, then Shiva also remembers me. But I can take that a normal person, if I remember a normal person, he cannot remember me back.
So you don't pray to normal person. Don't make that mistake.
Yeah, so like it should be proven na that if I remember Shiva, then Shiva also remembers me. How do we prove that?
What prove? What? Shiva is not ordinary person. That's why he said Chidachit. Right? So he is saying that he is Niravadhik. Why he is using all these Visheshanas? Can you make Vidhu as crown on your head? Can you put snake, even normal snake? Even a dead snake? So therefore don't compare yourself to Shiva or Shiva to yourself.
So we have to treat.
Otherwise,
Shiva
what is the point in praying? If you are just going to use Nyaya to take of the example of common people, then the question will be, why shall we pray to them then? Why not pray to your friend? So somebody who is being prayed to is obviously not ordinary person. This water is falling there. Okay, Narottam.
Babaji, could you please repeat the name of Vidya Bhattacharya's father? The name of Vidya Bhattacharya's father.
Vidya?
Vidya, if I wrote correctly, Vidya Bhattacharya.
Vidya Nivas.
Vidya Nivas. And his father?
Vidya Vachaspati. That is Sanatana Goswami's guru. Sanatana Goswami has written this in his commentary on 10th canto, Bhattacharyam Sarvabhaumam Vidya Vachaspatin Gurun. He writes that. So this Vidya Vachaspati was the younger brother of Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya. And his son was Vidya Nivas. And then his son was Vishwanath Panchanam.
I also had another question related to the... You said that Nyāya-siddhānta-muktāvalī is a combination of both Nyaya and Vaisheshikas. And you also said that it's a reflection of Tattva Chintamani and that it...
Because this has 4 parts in it. This Nyāya-siddhānta-muktāvalī has got 4 chapters. Pratyaksh Khanda, Anuman Khanda, Upman Khanda and Shabda Khanda. Tattva Chintamani also has. So basically Tattva Chintamani is written only on one sutra of Nyaya. So Nyaya, if you remember, there is a sutra which comes in the very beginning, I don't know, maybe 5th, 6th sutra, which says that Pratyaksha, Anuman, Shabda, Upmanani, Pramana. That these are 4 pramanas. So just on that he wrote whole Tattva Chintamani with 4 chapters, one on Pratyaksha only, other on Anumana, Upmana, Shabda. So this book also. So actually the general tradition of studying this is that you first study Anuman Khanda. But it's very complicated for people unless you have mastered Tark Sangra. Generally that's how they teach. They teach Anuman Khanda and also Mathuri Panchalakshani, then they go to the rest.
And you said also that this book brought the importance of precision. It was a revolutionary book. So is it, do others school also study
Yeah,
Nyaya?
after
So
everybody. Paniniyam, Kanadam cha Sarva Shastra Upakarakam. Simple. And this style of writing has been adopted by everybody after. If you read all the commentarial works from 14th century onwards, they all use this style. Jiva Goswami uses Vallabhacharya, all these people, whether South India, here, North, everywhere. This became standard way of writing. That's where this Nanu Nacha comes. Nanu, Nacha iti Vachyam. This is the style. Before that, if you read Vachaspati Misra, you will not find Nanu and Nacha statements, or Udayanacharya, all that. There you will see Syadetat. That is the way they write Purvapaksha. Syadetat. Quite often you will see. So it's a new style. Nanu and Nacha.
Last question, you mentioned Anubhavatmaka and Smaranatmaka, and you said that both of them have two more divisions. Is it Prama and Prameya or Prama and
Prama
Brahma?
and Brahma.
And Brahma.
Is the Mangalācaraṇam chanted only once at the beginning of writing the book, or just say that, each time they sit down to write, should they chant?
You can do it any time, but at least in the beginning. But Patanjali in his Mahabhasya says that you should do it in the beginning, in the end, and also in the middle. Mangaladau, Mangal Madhya, Mangalantau. Veer Purushani Bhavanti.
These two type of knowledge, this Anubhavatmaka. Anubhavatmaka is the knowledge, is the new knowledge. I understood correctly. Is the new knowledge. So then, and then this Maratmak.
What is that is old. Smaran is you remember only something which you already know.
Okay.
You cannot remember something which you do not know.
Okay. And what means literally What is the mean of the word?
Anubhava.
Anubhava.
Anubhava generally translated as experience.
Experience.
Okay, Sandeep ji.
So this Shiva being Isht, is it generally for all Nyayikas or only especially yahi pe hi hai?
What?
Specific. Shiva being the Ishta Dev. And Nyayikas, all Nyayikas have Shiva their Ishta Dev, or he only here is doing this?
Ishta Devata is nothing like that Nyayikas have. He will also pray to Krishna. Next, Newton, I already said Newton Jaladhar Ruchaye, Gopa Vadhuti Dukul Chora. So it's not that.
It's not specific rule ki for Nyayikas they are for consumption.
No.
Because in South there are total two divisions, Shivites and...
He is not South Indian first of all. He is from Bengal. Okay, Mohini.
I have two questions. One, a follow-up of 9 Shris. Well, we pray to Shiva, and because he's special, he can also remember one back, because he's not ordinary. But and because to him some ornaments are ascribed, like wearing vasuki or wearing...
Say your question, state your question. I mean, you're just repeating what I have said. Just state your question. This is what Nyaya is that. Nyaya teaches you to be precise. Now you are going on telling something which I already said. So why you say that?
Yeah, so my question is, where is the proof that Shiva exists? Just the writing that a person wears a moon and the person is wearing vasuki doesn't make that person exist?
So you are an atheist or you are a theist?
Yeah, I'm a theist, but...
You are an atheist, so then wait. We'll come to Ishwarvad and then we'll prove.
Okay. So my second question is, it is said that Shiva is wearing one face of a moon.
So now don't talk about this. You are an atheist, so don't talk that question. Stick to your statement. So either be theist or be atheist. Now you are an atheist, so now don't go into the details of Shiva. You don't believe in that. Why are you asking question to that?
That was just a Purvapaksha which...
No Purvapaksha. You are an atheist, so stick to your atheism. You don't have a right to ask question about Shiva. That's why I'm saying this. You learn Nyaya now. So Nyaya means cutting nonsense. So we don't accept any nonsense anymore in this class. Be clear what you want to say and don't go here and there, jumping to this, jumping to that, she said this, he said this. That will not work here in Nyaya.
Yeah, I think I am a theist, but
No, you are not. Just keep quiet now. You don't waste time unnecessarily. I'm telling you, I'm not going to give you chance like this if you go on. You have to be very clear what you want to say, otherwise I will cut you off. And I'm telling this very clearly, especially to you. You have to learn certain standards of the class and not waste everybody's time unnecessarily. It's very important. That's the whole subject of Nyaya, not wasting time talking unnecessary things, making unnecessary statements which are not related to the subject or which you don't even know what you are saying. Otherwise, don't come to this class. My Nyaya teacher was so strict, I already told you. When I first went to him, I was sitting in front of him and he was teaching, and I scratched my ear and he jumped up from his seat. He was so angry. He says, stop this nonsense, otherwise get out from here. When I am speaking, just listen to me and don't do this frivolous things. So you people don't know what discipline means, because I accept anything. But I have studied under great masters who are great disciplinarian. They won't tolerate any nonsense. And I am not like that, but at least please don't waste everybody's time asking nonsense questions, which you do most of the time. And you have been warned again and again, but you don't change. I have also told you many times before, at least once, that you should write your questions and then think whether this is worth asking or not. Because this complaint comes to me from others also, that why am I allowing you to ask these questions? And everything goes on record here. So especially at least in this Nyaya class, I will not tolerate. Because this is what I am teaching. So be very specific, and if you don't have any, it's not that you have to ask a question. If you have something not clear, I am most welcome. I welcome anybody to ask. But it should not be just because I have to say something. I am not even clear now. What is the proof that Shiva exists? I already said that Ishwarvada will come. Listen carefully what is being taught here. If you have question about the sloka, about the meaning, about word, as he had, I answered. Now suddenly, what is this question? What is the proof that Shiva exists? So am I here to prove now? He is doing Mangalācaraṇam. So now you deviate the whole topic to something else. Okay.